Good morning. I hope you're stepping into this new day with faith and expectation. Today, on this beautiful February 27th, 2026, we're talking about something that can change your life and change the world around you: love. Not just any love, but the kind of love that spreads kindness and compassion everywhere you go. You may have faced some challenges this week. Maybe someone was unkind. Maybe you felt overlooked or misunderstood. But here's the powerful truth: God has filled your heart with His love. And when you choose to walk in kindness, even when it's not deserved, you are reflecting His light. Love is not weakness. Kindness is not compromise. Compassion is strength. When you respond with grace instead of anger, patience instead of frustration, you are rising higher. God honors that. He sees every small act of kindness, every encouraging word, every moment you choose peace over conflict. Today, make this decision: Lord, use me as a vessel of your love. When you spread kindness, you're planting seeds, and those seeds will come back to you in greater measure. Joy, favor, open doors, divine connections. This is a new day. Let's pray and invite God to fill us with a love that overflows into everyone we meet. Love is a daily choice, not just a feeling. It's easy to love when everything is going your way. It's easy to be kind when people are kind back to you. It's easy to show compassion when you feel appreciated, respected, and understood. But real love isn't built on convenience. It isn't controlled by emotions that rise and fall. Feelings can change with circumstances, but a choice is something you make regardless of how you feel. Every morning when you wake up, you have a decision to make. You can choose to walk in frustration, impatience, and offense, or you can choose to walk in love. Feelings are unpredictable. Some days you feel inspired and full of joy. Other days you may feel tired, overlooked, or misunderstood. If love were only a feeling, it would disappear the moment life became difficult. But when you understand that love is a choice, you realize it's something you control. You don't have to wait until you feel loving to act in love. You can decide to speak kindly even when you're irritated. You can decide to forgive even when the hurt is still fresh. You can decide to be patient even when someone is testing your limits. Choosing love means you don't let other people determine your character. Someone may speak harshly to you, but you don't have to respond the same way. Someone may ignore you or treat you unfairly, but you don't have to mirror their behavior. When love is a choice, you stay steady. You stay consistent. You don't rise and fall based on how others treat you. You've already made up your mind about who you're going to be. You're going to be a person of grace. You're going to be a person of kindness. You're going to be a person who reflects God's heart no matter what comes your way. Every relationship will have moments that test you. Families go through misunderstandings. Friendships experience tension. Workplaces have pressure. In those moments, emotions can run high. You might feel justified in holding on to anger. You might feel entitled to respond sharply. But love steps back and says, I'm not going to let this temporary emotion create permanent damage. Love thinks long term. It values people over pride. It chooses humility over being right. When you choose love daily, you're building strength on the inside. It takes maturity to respond with kindness when you feel hurt. It takes spiritual growth to forgive when someone hasn't apologized. It takes confidence to show compassion to someone who may never thank you. But every time you choose love over impulse, you're growing. You're becoming more stable, more secure, more aligned with the person God created you to be. Love as a choice also means being intentional. It doesn't happen by accident. You look for opportunities to encourage someone. You look for ways to lift someone's spirit. You become aware of the needs around you. Maybe it's a smile to a stranger. Maybe it's a message to a friend who's struggling. Maybe it's choosing to listen instead of interrupting. These small, intentional decisions shape the atmosphere around you. They create peace where there could have been tension. They create unity where there could have been division. Some days you won't feel loving at all. You may wake up tired or stressed. Responsibilities may feel heavy. People may seem demanding. That's when the choice matters most. Anyone can love when it's easy, but when you choose love in challenging moments, you rise above the situation. You refuse to let pressure turn you into someone you're not. Instead of reacting, you respond. Instead of escalating conflict, you calm it. Instead of spreading negativity, you bring hope. Choosing love daily also protects your heart. When you hold on to resentment, it weighs you down. When you let bitterness settle in, it steals your joy. But when you choose love, you release those heavy emotions. You decide that peace is more valuable than being offended. You decide that freedom is better than holding grudges. Love keeps your heart soft. It keeps your spirit light. It keeps you open to the good things God wants to pour into your life. Love isn't passive, it's active. It shows up in your words. It shows up in your tone. It shows up in your reactions. It's the decision to speak life instead of criticism. It's the decision to assume the best instead of the worst. It's the decision to give people room to grow instead of labeling them by their mistakes. When you live this way consistently, people notice. They feel safe around you. They feel valued. They feel respected. As you continue to make love a daily choice, it becomes part of your identity. It's no longer something you struggle to do. It's who you are. You become known as someone who brings light into dark places, someone who responds with grace under pressure, someone who doesn't allow temporary emotions to control permanent values. And even on the days when feelings try to pull you in another direction, you remind yourself that love isn't based on mood. It's based on commitment. It's based on character. It's based on the decision you make each morning to walk in kindness, patience, and compassion. Regardless of what comes your way, kindness reflects God's character through you. Every time you choose to be kind, you are showing the world a glimpse of who God is. You may not always realize it, but your actions speak louder than your words. People may never open a Bible, they may never walk into a church, but they will experience God through the way you treat them. When you respond with patience instead of irritation, when you offer encouragement instead of criticism, you are becoming a living example of His heart. God's character is full of mercy, grace, and compassion. He doesn't deal with us based on our mistakes. He doesn't withdraw His love when we fall short. He continues to guide, restore, and uplift us. When you show kindness to someone who doesn't deserve it, you are reflecting that same mercy. When you forgive someone who has wronged you, you are mirroring His grace. Kindness becomes a bridge that connects heaven's nature to everyday life. In a world where people are often rushed, stressed, and focused on themselves, kindness stands out. It catches attention because it is rare. Many people are carrying silent battles. They may look strong on the outside, but inside they are dealing with disappointment, insecurity, or fear. A kind word at the right moment can change the direction of someone's day. A simple gesture of compassion can remind them that they matter. You never know how far one act of kindness can reach. Kindness is not weakness. It takes strength to be gentle in a harsh environment. It takes self-control to remain calm when others are upset. It takes maturity to respond with understanding instead of judgment. When you operate in kindness, you are not losing power. You are demonstrating a higher kind of power. You are showing that your spirit is not controlled by negativity. You are choosing to rise above the atmosphere instead of being shaped by it. Reflecting God's character means being consistent. It's easy to be kind when people are friendly and appreciative. But real reflection happens when kindness is given without conditions. When someone is rude and you still respond respectfully, that's character. When someone ignores your effort and you continue to serve with a good attitude, That's maturity. When someone misunderstands you and you choose patience instead of defense, that's strength. These moments reveal what is truly on the inside. Kindness also transforms you from within. As you make it a lifestyle, it shapes your thinking. You begin to look at people differently. Instead of focusing on their flaws, you see their potential. Instead of reacting to their attitude, you consider what they might be going through. Compassion grows in your heart. You become slower to judge and quicker to understand. This shift in perspective brings peace to your own soul. It keeps you from carrying unnecessary frustration. When you reflect God's character through kindness, you create environments where people feel safe. Families grow stronger when kindness is present. Workplaces become more productive when respect and encouragement are normal. Friendships deepen when compassion replaces competition. Your presence begins to influence the atmosphere. People feel valued around you, they feel heard, they feel appreciated. That influence is powerful because it doesn't come from force, it comes from love in action. There will be days when it feels challenging. You may feel tired, you may feel unappreciated, you may think your kindness is going unnoticed. But every act matters. Every encouraging word plants a seed. Every patient response builds something lasting. Even when others don't acknowledge it, God sees it. He sees the effort behind your smile. He sees the restraint behind your calm reply. He sees the compassion in your heart when you choose understanding over anger. Kindness often requires slowing down. It requires paying attention. It means noticing when someone needs support instead of walking past them. It means listening fully instead of thinking about your next response. In a fast-paced world, slowing down to care is a powerful statement. It says that people are more important than schedules. It says that relationships matter more than convenience. That kind of mindset reflects a heart aligned with God. As you continue to live this way, kindness becomes natural. It becomes part of your identity. You don't have to force it because it flows from who you are becoming. Your words carry warmth, your presence carries peace, your actions carry hope. Others begin to feel uplifted simply by being around you. They may not even be able to explain why, but something about your spirit feels different. When kindness reflects God's character through you, it creates a ripple effect. The person you encourage may go on to encourage someone else. The grace you show may inspire someone to forgive. The patience you demonstrate may teach someone how to respond differently in their own situation. What begins as one small act can spread far beyond what you see. You become a channel through which God's love moves into everyday moments, turning ordinary interactions into opportunities for grace, compassion, and quiet strength that speaks without words. Compassion opens doors that force never can. You can push your way into certain opportunities. You can demand respect. You can insist on being heard. But the doors that truly matter in life don't respond to pressure. They respond to heart. Compassion has a way of softening resistance. It builds trust. It creates connection. Where force creates distance, compassion builds bridges. When you approach people with understanding instead of authority, something shifts. Walls begin to come down. People who were guarded become open. Individuals who were defensive become willing to listen. Compassion communicates safety. It says, I see you, I value you, I'm not here to overpower you. That message carries more influence than raised voices or rigid control ever could. Force may get quick results, but it rarely builds lasting relationships. You might win an argument by overpowering someone with facts or intensity, but you could lose their trust in the process. Compassion takes a different route. It seeks to understand before being understood. It listens before responding. It considers the other person's perspective, even if it disagrees. That approach creates room for meaningful dialogue. In families, compassion opens doors that constant correction never will. When children or loved ones feel judged, they shut down. When they feel heard, they open up. Taking time to understand what someone is going through creates an atmosphere where growth can happen. Instead of pushing someone to change, compassion invites them to grow. It replaces fear with encouragement. It replaces pressure with patience. In the workplace, force may demand compliance, but compassion inspires commitment. Leaders who rule through fear may get short-term performance, but leaders who lead with empathy build loyalty. When people know you genuinely care about their well-being, they are more willing to go the extra mile. They are more open to feedback. They feel respected rather than controlled. Compassion creates influence that doesn't rely on position or title. Even in moments of conflict, compassion has remarkable power. When someone is upset, responding with equal intensity only escalates the situation. But when you pause and try to understand their frustration, you change the tone of the conversation. You might say, "Help me understand what you're feeling." That simple shift can transform tension into cooperation. Compassion acknowledges emotions without fueling negativity. There are situations where you may feel justified in being firm or forceful. You may think, "If I don't push harder, nothing will change." But often the breakthrough you're looking for comes through gentleness. Compassion doesn't mean you abandon truth. It means you deliver truth with care. It means you correct without humiliating. It means you guide without shaming. That balance opens doors to respect. Compassion also opens doors within your own heart. When you view people through a lens of understanding, you release yourself from constant frustration. Instead of labeling someone as difficult, you begin to wonder what pain they might be carrying. Instead of reacting to their attitude, you consider what pressure they might be under. That perspective softens your spirit. It keeps resentment from taking root. Many people are fighting battles you can't see. The person who seems short-tempered may be overwhelmed at home. The coworker who appears distant may be dealing with loss. The friend who withdraws may be struggling silently. When you approach them with compassion instead of assumption, you create space for healing. You may not solve their problems, but you can become a source of comfort. Force often focuses on control. Compassion focuses on connection. Control says, "Do it my way." Connection says, "Let's find a way together." Control demands immediate results. Connection builds long-term understanding. The relationships that last are built on connection, not coercion. When people feel valued rather than pressured, they respond from the heart. Compassion requires humility. It requires setting aside pride long enough to truly listen. It means admitting you don't have all the answers. It means recognizing that your perspective is not the only one. That humility strengthens relationships. It invites mutual respect. It creates an environment where collaboration can thrive. When you consistently operate with compassion, opportunities begin to appear naturally. People recommend you because they trust your character. Doors open because others feel comfortable working with you. Conversations deepen because others sense your sincerity. You don't have to force your way into spaces where compassion has already prepared the ground. Compassion also transforms conflicts into opportunities for growth. Instead of seeing disagreements as threats, you begin to see them as chances to understand more deeply. Instead of shutting down or pushing harder, you lean in with empathy. You ask questions. You clarify misunderstandings. You approach situations with a desire to restore rather than to dominate. There is a quiet strength in compassion. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to prove itself. Its power is steady and consistent. It wins hearts gradually. It changes atmospheres gently. It opens doors that would remain locked to pride, impatience, and pressure. When you choose compassion, You position yourself to influence lives in ways that force could never accomplish, creating pathways of trust, respect, and meaningful connection that continue to expand. With every interaction, what you sow in love, you reap in favor. Life operates on a principle of sowing and reaping. Every word you speak, every action you take, every attitude you carry is a seed. When you choose to sow seeds of love, kindness, patience, and generosity, you are setting your future up for increase. You may not see immediate results, you may not receive instant recognition, but seeds planted in love never return empty. They grow beneath the surface before they ever appear above it. Sometimes it can feel like you are giving out more than you are receiving. You encourage others, but no one seems to encourage you. You forgive quickly, but others hold grudges. You show up consistently, but your efforts go unnoticed. In those moments, it's easy to become discouraged. But love is never wasted. Every act of kindness is being recorded in ways you cannot see. Every time you choose patience over frustration, you are planting something that will eventually come back to you. Favor doesn't always arrive from the same direction you sowed the seed. You may help one person, and someone completely different may open a door for you. You may show compassion in a small situation, and later find unexpected support in a major one. That's how favor works. It flows in ways that are beyond calculation. When you live with a generous heart, opportunities are drawn to you. Relationships strengthen around you. Trust builds naturally. Sowing love means choosing to give your best, even when circumstances are not ideal. It means offering respect even when you feel overlooked. It means speaking life even when negativity surrounds you. These choices create a pattern. Over time, that pattern shapes your reputation. People begin to see you as dependable, gracious, and trustworthy. That reputation becomes a pathway for favor. Favor is often connected to how you treat others when you don't have to. When there is no obligation, no reward promised, and no spotlight shining, your character is revealed. If you continue to sow love in those hidden moments, you are building something solid. You are preparing for seasons where doors open effortlessly. The seeds you planted quietly will begin to produce publicly. There is also a spiritual dimension to sowing love. When your heart is aligned with compassion and generosity, you position yourself to receive peace and joy. Bitterness blocks blessing, resentment weighs down your spirit, but love keeps your heart open. It keeps your attitude healthy. It allows you to walk freely without carrying unnecessary burdens. That internal freedom attracts external favor. Sometimes the harvest takes time. Farmers don't plant seeds one day and expect a crop the next. They trust the process. They water consistently. They protect the soil. In the same way, when you sow love, you must remain patient. Don't uproot your seed by complaining. Don't cancel your harvest by becoming cynical. Stay consistent. Continue speaking kindly. Continue serving faithfully. Continue forgiving quickly. The environment you create through love often determines the opportunities you receive. When people feel valued around you, they remember it. When someone experiences encouragement during a difficult time, they carry that memory. When you show up with integrity and compassion, it leaves an impression. Later, when an opportunity arises, your name may come to mind because of the seeds you planted long before. Sowing love also changes the atmosphere in your own life. Homes filled with encouragement become places of peace. Workspaces where respect is practiced become more productive. Friendships nurtured with patience grow deeper. These are forms of favor. They may not always appear dramatic, but they create stability and joy. The quality of your relationships improves because you chose to invest in them. There will be moments when you are tempted to stop sowing. You may think it's easier to match someone's negativity. You may feel like withholding kindness when it isn't returned. But the moment you stop sowing love, you limit your own harvest. Stay faithful to who you are called to be. Don't let someone else's behavior determine your planting season. Favor often shows up unexpectedly. It may come as a recommendation from someone you once encouraged. It may come as support during a time you least expected it. It may appear as peace in a stressful situation because you have practiced patience for so long. The seeds of love have a way of multiplying beyond what you originally gave. When you live with this mindset, you stop measuring every interaction. You stop keeping score. You give freely because you trust the principle. You understand that life responds to what you consistently sow. If you sow criticism, you often reap conflict. If you sow generosity, you often reap gratitude. If you sow love, you reap favor. Each day presents new opportunities to plant. A kind word here, a forgiving response there, a generous act when no one is watching. These small seeds accumulate. Over time, they create a harvest of open doors, meaningful relationships, and unexpected blessings that align with the love you have faithfully sown into the lives of others and into the atmosphere around you. Small acts of kindness create big miracles. It's easy to think that only grand gestures make a difference. We often believe that impact requires a platform, influence, or extraordinary resources, but most miracles begin in ordinary moments. A simple smile, a thoughtful message, a few minutes of listening, these may seem small at the time, but they carry power far beyond what you can see. Every day presents opportunities for small kindnesses, holding the door open for someone, offering a word of encouragement to a coworker, thanking someone sincerely for their effort, letting someone go ahead of you in line. These actions may only take seconds, but they leave impressions that last much longer. For someone who feels invisible, being acknowledged can restore confidence. For someone who feels overwhelmed, a gentle word can bring calm. Kindness has a ripple effect. When you do something thoughtful for one person, they often feel inspired to do something kind for someone else. That chain reaction spreads further than you may ever realize. A single act can travel through families, workplaces, and communities. You may never see the full result, but the impact continues to grow long after the moment has passed. Small acts matter because they are consistent. Grand gestures may happen once in a while, but daily kindness builds momentum. When you make it a habit to treat people with respect and compassion, it becomes part of your character. Over time, those repeated actions shape the environment around you. Homes become warmer, workplaces become more supportive, friendships become deeper. Sometimes we underestimate what people are carrying. A stranger you meet may be facing a difficult diagnosis. A friend may be struggling with disappointment. A colleague may be under pressure you know nothing about. Your small act of kindness might be arriving at the exact moment they need it most. You don't have to solve their problem to make a difference. You just have to show that you care. Miracles don't always look dramatic. Sometimes a miracle is a discouraged person finding hope again. Sometimes it's a strained relationship beginning to soften. Sometimes it's someone choosing not to give up because a few kind words reminded them of their worth. These transformations often begin quietly. They don't make headlines, but they change lives. Small kindness requires awareness. It means paying attention to the people around you. It means noticing when someone seems withdrawn. It means slowing down enough to ask how someone is really doing. In a busy world, that level of attention is rare. When you offer it, people feel valued, they feel seen. That sense of belonging can be life-changing. You don't need special qualifications to perform small acts of kindness. You don't need wealth or status. All you need is willingness. A willing heart can turn everyday moments into opportunities for blessing. A simple compliment can brighten someone's confidence. A short prayer can bring comfort. A thoughtful gesture can restore faith in humanity. There will be times when your kindness seems unnoticed. You may not receive appreciation. You may not hear a thank you. But the value of a kind act is not determined by the response. Its value lies in the intention. When you act from a place of love, you are planting seeds that grow in ways you may never witness directly. Small acts also strengthen you. When you choose kindness regularly, your heart stays soft. Your perspective stays positive. Instead of focusing on negativity, you look for opportunities to uplift. That shift in focus changes your own outlook. You begin to see possibilities instead of problems. You become a source of light rather than someone who adds to the noise. Kindness can transform difficult environments. In a tense situation, a calm response can shift the tone. In a competitive atmosphere, encouragement can reduce insecurity. In a divided space, understanding can build unity. These shifts may begin with one small action, but their effect spreads outward. You may never fully understand the weight your small acts carry. A brief conversation might prevent someone from making a harmful decision. A simple expression of belief might inspire someone to pursue a dream. A consistent pattern of encouragement might help someone develop confidence over time. What seems ordinary to you may feel extraordinary to them. When you commit to practicing small acts of kindness daily, you become a catalyst for change, not through dramatic displays, but through steady, intentional love. You create moments where people feel supported instead of judged. You create spaces where hope grows instead of fear. You become someone whose presence makes situations better simply